Thomas Partey. So, as I say, Sammy Mokbel reported that Thomas Partey is likely to leave because we're in April now, and usually by April you start to hear things about, a player signing a new contract, but we haven't had anything at all. But this is what David Ornstein has had to say. It long appeared that Thomas Partey is set to exit Arsenal this summer, but a return to prominence in the side has left Mikel Arteta and the club keen to extend his stay. Partey is happy at Arsenal and his family are enjoying living in London. Now, the first part of that, so David Ornstein basically says the same thing that Sammy Mokbel said as well. So Sammy Mokbel wasn't really wrong. That it appeared that Thomas Partey was going to leave, and I do agree. Like when you get to April and there's nothing that you've heard about a player getting a new contract, it was looking like he was going to leave. But it's very true what they've said at the beginning there, what David Ornstein has said in terms of a return to prominence in the side. Now, if you're to ask me to have my top 3 Arsenal players this season, Partey might not be there. Yes, I'd have players like Ryan, Gabriel, but you know how good players like Gabriel have been for us this season. But I do agree that if you're to ask me to rate to have a rating for Thomas Partey this season, I think it's a good 7.5 out of 10. I think in most of the games, he's been really good. I can probably count on one hand how many games he hasn't been great, but if you look at the entire season, I think 80% of the performances have been really good. And I always go back to that period where we were losing to Bournemouth and Newcastle and Inter Milan, all those teams back in November. Thomas Partey was probably our best player during that period. And he's been able to remain fit. He's been able to be consistent. And however much people don't like him playing at right back, I actually think he did quite a decent job at right back when he's not even a right back. We saw him scoring a goal from right back the other day, but games against Liverpool at right back, he played really well. Now, there's a few games here and there that he hasn't been great, like Aston Villa. Rodgers gave him a hard time. But also there's one of those games against Aston Villa was when he was playing at right back, not really his position. And I think he's been a very good player for us this season. And if you are to replace him, you're going to need to really improve that midfield a lot, because he's used to playing with Declan Rice. He's used to playing in front of Saliba and Gabriel and all these players. And him and Gabriel are like one of our longest serving players at the moment, because we've been here since 2020. But the other thing is his age, obviously, and all that. So will Arsenal really give him a new contract with that age and all that? We'll see. Let's continue with this. So as David Ornstein says, Partey is happy at Arsenal and his family is enjoying living in London. So that's another thing I've always said as well. Does he want to stay or does he want to leave? Even if Arsenal want to keep him, does he actually want to stay, or does he want to move on to Saudi Arabia or the MLS to get a bit of money before he retires? That's also another thing. But if he actually wants to stay, then that is interesting. Now, for me, I've made one thing clear. I'm not in the camp of replacing players and selling players at the moment. I think our squad is so short. I want us to add to our squad. Like, I'm happy to keep Kivio this next season. I'm happy to keep Martinelli next season. I'm happy to keep Trossard next season. I'm happy to keep Thomas Partey next season. We need to add to our squad. If we can sell players 3 or 4, no problem. But we don't want to get into a situation next season where Partey and Jorginho have both left the club, and then the new midfielder we've bought is out for 2 months. And then what? And then we have to change things around again. Play Merino here, move Rice to this position, move Trossard to this position, move this player to... I don't want us to get ourselves into that position again. This season, we've really struggled with those injuries. We've been unable to even play the first team almost the entire season. We've always had an injury here and then. That's a mess. So Thomas Partey has been actually surprisingly one of those players who's been able to stay fit. So that's not the only news on Thomas Partey. Also, Charles Watts had this to say about Thomas. The expectation has been that Thomas will leave at the end of the season, but as far as I'm aware, there is a feeling maybe that Arsenal are actually now willing to enter into negotiations about an extension, but has not happened yet. There is sense from the people I have spoken to that is a bit of a change, and Arsenal would potentially be open to keeping him. Whereas before, the feeling with Partey's side was this isn't going to happen. Arsenal aren't open for discussion. So it looks like Arsenal were kind of ready to let him go on a free, but it looks like they've changed their minds. Now, why have they changed their minds? We don't know. Is it because they've now maybe confirmed Jorginho is going to leave? Have they now seen maybe Merino is better, in the forward positions? Like, all that could be a possibility. Or have they actually seen Partey's performances this season and thought, listen, he's actually played really well in most of the games this season. There's still another year there from him. There's another couple of years there from him. I don't know what they've thought, but I do think he deserves to get another year extension. From his based on his performances this season, he's been good. He's been good most of the games. So if you're talking about performances and selling players based on performances, he's not the first one you'd consider to let go, because his performances have actually been great this season most of the time. Now let's talk about this as well. The pay cut and the wages. According to James Ollie, one source has suggested that Thomas Partey would need to take pay cut in any deal to remain at Arsenal. Now, will that be another issue, or will that be sorted? Because I've seen someone say that Thomas Partey is actually asking for an increase in wages. Now, if Partey is asking for an increase in wages, that is not going to happen. At his age, it's not going to happen. So are they going to just give him the same salary that he gets at the moment? Or are they going to extend for him? Or are they going to ask for a pay cut from Thomas Partey's side? Now, I have a feeling that if Thomas Partey says, nah, I want a pay increase, Arsenal will not give him a new contract. I have a feeling if Partey asks for a higher deal, and then Arsenal just say no, maybe Thomas Partey will be like, you know what, let me just move on. But also, it can also be the other way. If Partey asks for a new contract and Arsenal just like, no, we are not going to give you a higher pay increase. We're just going to let you go. The only way I can see it happening is if they meet him in the middle, and that is to just give him the same money that he's on right now. But that's 200,000 per week. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money to increase for his age. He cannot increase. How old is Thomas Partey right now? 1993. So he's about to turn 32. Yeah, he's about to turn 32 right now. So I don't think they're going to increase his wages. He's actually amongst the highest paid players at Arsenal right now. They're going to obviously soon be overtaken by players like Saka and Gabriel and those guys. I literally don't know what is going to happen. I've always felt like he's not going to get a new contract because of if you're going to go and sign big players like Gyökeres and put them on high wages, and Nico Williams and put them on high wages, we're going to have to make sacrifices elsewhere, and the sacrifices we would have made players like Gabriel Jesus is injured. We're not going to sell him, and Gabriel Jesus unfortunately is getting paid a lot of money. So Partey's on 160,000 per week. So yeah, around that. So if you increase it for him, it's going to be around 200,000 or maybe 220. I don't know. For me, simple. I think he deserves to get a 1-year contract, extend for him for 1 more year, keep him here for next season, give him the same money he's on right now. But if he asks for too much in terms of wage increases, then we're going to have to find a way to just, convince him to stick with the money that he has right now. So let's see how that one goes. But that's the latest on Thomas Partey. This is something that is definitely going to go on for another few weeks, obviously.